Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Datacron Set 21 review, The Good, the Bad, and the Awesome, formerly known as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We're going to be going over everything for this set, from stats all the way to character level 9 abilities, starting in this order as you see on the bottom of the screen. And at the end, I'm also going to be diving into the focused Datacrons that are new to this set, kind of ranking them as I go, and just overall impressions of them. Who knows, just one guy's opinion, so sit tight, stay tuned. And first we're looking at the stats, and I really feel like the stats have been the same or virtually the same for a lot of sets in a row now. We keep getting health and protection, we haven't had defense in a while, we keep having armor penetration, crit damage, tenacity I feel like has been there a while, potency on and off, and crit chance is the only bad stat. I think the best, there we go, forgot the graphic part, the awesome. I think the best for the health and protection, I mean, that's the only one I find myself really wanting, like, as much as I can of. Every character can make use of health and protection to one extent or another, unless you're like B1 or something. These others, I mean, armor penetration is great. This amount is great. These are the level 7 and 8 totals, so it goes down from there in lower levels. That's a lot of armor penetration. I just don't put it as awesome because some characters don't even do physical damage. This is only for physical damage. Tenacity is great, but you gotta have a specific purpose and strategic use for it. Potency, these are great totals, 50 to 75%. You could easily get upwards of 200 some percent, 250%. And potency, if you really needed it, I don't know who needs that much potency, but high amounts. Then crit chance, like I said, is the bad one. Crit damage, crit damage, armor pen. You're gonna put together a pretty hard-hitting Datacron if you get a bunch of those. That's stats. I mean, nothing too crazy, just kind of standard old stuff. Moving on to alignment mechanics. This is for Dark Side. Side note, I'm thankful we haven't had a single alignment Datacron set in a while. They've all had light side and dark side. We used to get a lot of just dark side or just light side. So happy about that still. Nothing stands out here. There's nothing that's like, oh my gosh, you gotta have it. 3 of them are pretty good, decent. The other 2 I think are bad. The bad ones, you get some health and protection recovery for dazing or stunning. Very situational, not that helpful. When they gain a buff, they recover health and protection. I mean, that's okay. Dark side is less likely to gain buffs. In general, they're less buff heavy than light side, and even so, it's not a huge deal. The damage based on debuffs is okay. Getting evasion up, health steal up, and health up for 2 turns when you use a special is actually probably the best to me, especially for the evasion up. And health up too is a little bit underrated. Just it's like an effect you're usually getting passively that isn't a buff, like increase your hit max health, but it helps with that as well. And then this one where you can get tenacity up. If they start with at least 3 debuffs that can be dispelled, they get tenacity up. So that kind of helps a problem that it comes into action when there's a problem you're having, and that's a lot of debuffs. So I mean, it's decent. What I'd say about Dark Side, I'd say when you roll a Dark Side, as long as you get one of these 3, just take it up and try to get the level 6 you want. So save your rerolls for the level 6, the level 9, and the stats. Don't make it a huge priority to reroll Dark Side abilities. And on the other hand, we once again have this Thick Cron. 50% max health and protection for each other light side ally. We've had this for, I don't know, 8-9 months straight. I feel like there's been 3 different rotations of sets where we've always had light side bulkiness. So this is the one to get. It's pretty much, it could be the only one you go for. Honorable mention to the tank revive. So that's more situational. Like, I would go for this one if you have like a specific purpose in mind, like you want GK revived, or I don't know. I actually don't know, because like on a Jedi Master Kenobi team, I think you want the thickness as well. But it's been a long time since we've had normal health and protection light side teams, so I don't know. I'd be ready for this type of level 3 to go away. And then this one, which juices up the remaining light side allies when their other allies die, 15% offense and 20 speed. There's instances where this could be nice, like Rey getting 60% offense if she's the last character. It's pretty tough. But in general, you don't really want that, because on defense, if they've got you down to 1 or 2 characters, they're usually going to beat you anyway, and on offense, you're going to get terrible banners. So I really don't like that one. This one's more like blah. And then the bad one, the protection up 20% starting. That's so small, and it's for 2 turns, and it can even be dispelled. It's just bad. And 25% chance to dispel debuffs. This has been bugged in the past where it's a higher than 25% chance, and if that's the case, it's not too bad. But as written, it's pretty bad, and that's the light side abilities. And now for our first set of faction mechanics, we have Rebel Fighters. The bad ones, this one's too situational. When a Rebel Fighter is revived, they get recovered 25% protection, big whoop, 25% to turn meter, reduce their cooldowns by 1. I think it's just too situational. You're not getting too many revives, and it's not that big of a bonus, even when you do. When you attack after turn, 25% chance to remove 10% turn meter. I mean, that's fine on Mon Mothma team. I just don't really think of Mon Mothma as that important anymore. And I think it's overshadowed by if you're going for that structure on Mon Mothma team, whenever Rebel Fighter allies grant a buff to another ally, that ally gains 10% turn meter. So that's another way to bridge the gap for a fully complete turn meter loop. This one's nice. When a Rebel Fighter ally defeats an enemy, they take a bonus turn. I would like that, on a Saw Gerrera team. I mean, that's the main Rebel Fighter team, right? Someone gets a kill, they can keep going in kind of a loop, either that little summon guy or Kyle Katana or something. But I also really like this one, dealing bonus damage equal to 10% max health for inflicting a debuff. This is like beyond Amplify Agony, because in Conquest the max you get is like 8.3% damage, 10% per debuff. That's pretty nice. And I want to see this applied with Saw Gerrera. Is it going to be 150% health damage when he lays down his thermals, his bombs? If that's the case, that's completely OP, and this would be awesome instead. I kind of hope it's not like that. It can't be evaded. It's actually a little cut off here, but it can't be resisted. So as long as, no, that part, it's not going to be resisted. That's just an add-on to the debuff. So that has the potential to be broken. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure. And here we go, Sith. Probably the best faction in this set. The bad ones, protection recovery based on enemy protection recovery. That's whatever. Some extra offense for a couple turns when you critically hit an enemy. Maybe that's once in a while going to be strong, but I don't like it. The stun thing where you get turn meter, health and protection when you're stunned, that's actually kind of nice. I mean, getting extra turn meter is sweet, especially on like a Trey team. You're going to dispel the debuff anyway, so you don't care, but you're just like, them stunning you is good for you. You get turn meter and health and protection recovery. The ones I listed as awesome, again, I forgot to put the title in there first try. The revive prevention on all Sith allies. The stock of this Cron, whenever it comes back, just keeps going up and up. The more revives we get. Like, the revives are way more ubiquitous than they used to be. It's no longer just Night Sisters and Jolie. You got Dark True Moff Gideon, you got Leia's ult, you got, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. So there's lots of revives to go around. So situationally, very good. Then whenever a Sith ally falls below 100% health, they gain a bonus turn limit once per character per battle. This is amazing, especially on defense. Because on offense, a lot of times you want to be in a commanding spot, you want to be running the table. But on defense, if they're going to beat you, they have to get everyone under 100% health. So they're going to be dealing with all these bonus turns. So I really love that one as a defensive thing. I would think this is defense tier A or S tier, and then this is offense S tier, like situationally. That is Sith. And then we got Bad Batch. Not super impressed with what they have to offer. I do like the crit avoid, 100% crit avoid and crit chance, just regardless of what faction it's on. That's very nice. I mean, it's an awesome offensive tool and defensive tool. So I think that was probably the best, and I think it's even better than their unique Datacron, because usually each set, like a faction, well, I don't think it was the case for Sith this time, but a lot of times the faction will get a new Datacron ability that we haven't seen before, and a lot of the other ones are just recycled, just switching out the factions. This is new. Bad Batch allies can ignore taunt to target an enemy that was previously damaged by a Bad Batch ally on their turn. Okay, so taunt ignored. I mean, it's nice. Whenever an ally is defeated, already bad to lose somebody. Dispel stealth from the strongest ally. They gain 200% defense for 2 turns, recover 100% health and protection. So this is kind of forcing a taunt. I mean, yeah, it's like giving an extra defense boost and taunt ignore. That's mainly the thing. Not super impressed by it. The bad ones, the protection recovery matching their health recovery. Okay, big whoop. Chance to dispel, 65%. It's like, okay, I guess. And then this one, I've always marked as bad. Whenever they fall below half health, not even full health, half health, bad batch allies reduce cooldowns by 1, gain 10% turn meter. Okay, it's not enough turn meter. And the cooldowns are nice, but if it would have to be kind of higher than 50% health, more turn meter for me to really like this ability. And that's bad batch. And now Separatists. Separatists have probably the best batch of 5 abilities out there. They only have one that I think is bad. 50% protection recovery if they do at least 5 debuffs. That's a very steep price of admission to get that protection recovery. Right away, let's just talk about the awesome one. The riposte. I mean, we've been seeing this one making the rounds. Riposte in general is very strong. This is going to be great with geos and territory war most importantly, because outside of TW, they're not as valuable anymore. But with Pago Omicron, that's going to be crazy. Lots of attacks under protection. And then Trench, I mean, especially in TW, but like Trench, if you're using him, that's going to be really nice. There's a lot of counterattacks and assists on that team, so Riposte goes really well. Other than that, these 3 are definitely strong enough to not hate. The defense penetration up and offense up for 1 turn. Basically, you keep having it except for your very first turn. You can have offense up or defense penetration up unless it's dispelled. That's kind of nice. Irresistible blind on 1 enemy at a time. That's not bad either. And then damage immunity when falling below half health. It's all decent. It's kind of like a stopgap if you're getting a table run on you. But definitely Riposte will be the priority for me for sure with Separatists. And now we move into the character abilities, the level 9 abilities, starting with Rebel Fighters. We do have Mon Mothma here, who is not a Rebel Fighter, but her level 9 will be granted only if you have a level 6 Rebel Fighter ability. Let's start with Saul. Whenever another ally is defeated, Saul takes a bonus turns and their cooldowns are reset. I mean, it's okay. Like when he gets to do the blind AoE, that's going to be pretty nice for your team. General, it's not amazing because if someone's dying, you're in a bad spot, unless it's like that summon guy. But I guess with the summon guy, you're forced to attack him, so you can get a few uses out of this. So that's actually pretty decent. Mon Mothma, when she uses the basic ability on her turn, all other allies gain 25% turn meter. If this was at any time she uses the basic, that would be awesome. But it's just her turn, and so that's like typically turn 3 is when you would want to use it, because you want to use your other 2 specials, or maybe turn 2 if you don't need to revive. It's nice. I mean, you might complete the turn meter loop. Yeah, I don't know. And then Luthen, this just makes him tankier. It's like half of the Galactic Legend ability, 5% health and protection per relic level. So mine's relic 7. He gets an extra 35% at max health and max protection, and then reduced damage. I mean, it's okay. It's nice. He's a good character, so it doesn't hurt to throw that ability on. I prefer Saw over that. Cassian's not great. Whenever he inflicts a debuff, he recovers 25% of his max health and max protection, but only once per turn. So, big whoop. And he doesn't have that much health and protection. You could kill him real fast. That amount of recovery isn't going to be saving anybody. And now this one. This is going to be interesting to see, because this is a repeat, the Bodhi Rook ability. We saw this in set 13, I think, and it was completely overshadowed by Chirrut. Chirrut's Datacron, because Chirrut could stack his damage into the millions for him and Baze, and it was insane. So no one used this, because it is gated by if the allied leader is a rebel fighter. Since the only real good rebel fighter leaders saw, you're not going to be really working much with Wedge, this wasn't used much. What does it say? Whenever a rebel fighter ally gains or loses bonus turn meter, very frequently, they recover that much health and protection, so you're constantly going to be getting topped off. Whenever an enemy loses turn meter, they take 10% of their max health as true damage. Whenever Bodhi Rook uses his basic ability, target enemy loses 30% turn meter, which can't be resisted. If he were allowed to be on a Mon Mothma team, he would be getting that off a lot. And then if Bodhi is defeated while another rebel fighter ally is active, he revives with 50% health and takes a bonus turn. So he's going to be annoying just sitting there. You can't really take care of him until you've taken care of the rest of the team. At this point, I think maybe like, we didn't have Luthen when this was in the game last time. I think we may have progressed to a point where this isn't that compelling. I'm interested to see how many people feel the need to Relic 5 their Bodhi Rook for this. I personally probably will not. But in general, I wanted to give it the awesome nod as a pretty comprehensive ability. Next up, we got the Sith character level 9 abilities. This is my favorite faction for the set. And there are 2 slides to this faction because one was quite long. Good, Darth Scion. This is we see it a lot. We have it on Embo right now. Whenever they crit, he gets 10% crit damage, defense, penetration, offense. That's the holy trinity of damage in this game. So if you can get 200% of each, that will be a lot more damage for him. So that is significant. However, I would go for, on that team, Darth Talon. So whenever Darth Talon uses a basic ability, she gets 50% protection up, which is nice because she's kind of flimsy for 2 turns, and 50% turn meter, so she's going to be attacking a lot. Whenever Talon damages an enemy using a special, inflict fear for 1 turn on that enemy. So she does have an AoE. She has to lead up to it because it has a high cooldown that has conditional cooldown reduction. But AoE fear once she gets to go. That's definitely my pick for the Traya team. That is amazing. If you absolutely can't get it, I mean, Scion's nice too. But I would prioritize Talon if you can. Emperor Palpatine and Sith Assassin, kind of meh. Sith Assassin, 100% protection recovery when stealthing. I mean, great. She doesn't have that much protection anyway. Then Palpatine, when he stuns an enemy. So he could do it up to 5 times in 1 move. But what do you get? 10% crit damage and 5 speed. So, okay, crit damage, who cares? He is not a damage dealer. It does not matter. When he does do damage, it's like ability damage from his unique. And then speed, I guess, that's nice. But it's still so, like, that many, he needs to get a lot of stuns for that to really matter. So I don't really care too much for that. And then this one. This is a repeat. We're getting it back after, I forget how many seasons, but Darth Sidious. And thankfully, I still have good mods on mine from the Naboo raid, so I don't even have to worry about it. I can just get it and use them. If there are no other active allies at the start of the battle, so think Wampa. He gets 200% defense, health steal, max health, max protection, 100% counter chance, and crit chance, and 100 speed. That's a lot of stats. Immune to daze and stun. At the start of his turn, dispels all other debuffs that he has, resets all cooldowns, so he spins the whole time. Spin and attack everybody, every time. When he uses a basic, he does damage over time for 1 turn, can't be resisted. Whenever he uses a special ability, dispels all buffs. So he's constantly going to be dispelling buffs, dealing a lot of damage, and then enemies can't assist or attack again if he is targeted. So think Darth Revan. He can't be assisted on, or Ezra. At the start of each enemy's turn, if they have at least 5 seconds of damage over time, they are instantly defeated. Whenever an enemy is defeated, he recovers 100% health protection. So this is great. The only question I have in my mind is use case, because I think a lot of the teams I beat with it last time it was around, they're not really on the board in Kyber 1. But for other leagues, this is just fantastic. Like, this is going to be an extra free. He's better than Wampa, honestly. And if you have him Relic 7 to unlock Sith Eternal, then you're good to go. I think I used it a lot on like Tuskens. Well, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I kind of forget who I used it on. So like, share in the chat who the big uses for this was, because it's been a long time. I kind of forget. I just know it was really nice. And that is Sith. Next, we got Bad Batch. Another 2-slide section, because there's a lot of the abilities. Possible record mechanics. This is the one where you lose taunt, remove 50% turn meter from all enemies. I love that. That's really good, especially when you have it on a strong tank. Always going to be valuable. Tex is good as well. At the start of his turns, he resets his cooldowns, lose 5% health for each ability used. So we can always use the slide out stun if they're dazed, or it can grant translation to someone. So it's good. It's nice for OG Bad Batch team. New Omega. Whenever another ally recovers protection, she gains Foresight. I guess that's okay. Foresight's annoying. I'm not going to say it's amazing or anything. OG Omega. When she gains Stealth, also reduces cooldowns of her specials by 1, which I kind of say big whoop. The best ones. Crosshair I put as good. I don't know. Maybe it'll be amazing. Maybe it'll be awesome. I don't know. But whenever he loses a stack of Shaken, he loses another stack. So he's going to get to his big ability faster. Whenever he doesn't score crit, he inflicts buff immunity for 2 turns. Can't be evaded or resisted. Can't be dispelled though. That's still pretty nice. Automatic buff immunity. And then whenever he deals damage to an enemy, the weakest ally without stealth recovers 10% health and protection. All nice little things to add up to be a good ability, but not, amazing. The one I would go for, new Bad Batch, if I had them, is Batcher. Mainly because of this. If there are no Galactic Legends, enemies can't gain bonus turn meter. That's amazing. That is like Jedi Master Kenobi or Hux. But unlike Hux is dependent on having a buff, so it goes away. And JMK does it to his own team. So that is a crazy, crazy valuable thing. Turn meter is ubiquitous in most teams, especially older teams. So that is awesome. And other stuff. Badger's immune to Days of the Sun. Okay, great. Whenever she damages, removes 50% turn meter and gains that much turn meter. That's nice too. And whenever a Bad Batch ally is inflicted with captive, reset the cooldowns of Batcher's abilities. Dispels all debuffs on herself and takes a bonus turn. So she's going to be taking turns a lot. It'll be a good defensive ability. But that turn meter prevention, that is just a class above. So just really, really great stuff there on Batcher. And last but not least, in the factions we have Separatists. Admiral Trench, always going to dispel on themselves and recover health for it. So can't complain about that. Pretty nice. But not the one I go for on the Trench team. Poggle the Lesser. Whenever he attacks at a turn, gains a stack of heal over time, protection over time, but more importantly, inflicts protection disruption for 1 turn. Again, think Territory Wars. That's going to be great. So that's, I'm not going to say it's amazing or awesome, but it's definitely pretty good. And the new Gun Ray gains 50% turn meter when other allies use a special. I mean, it's just not impactful enough for me to say that's great. I mean, damn turns isn't the best thing in the world. And then Watt, reflecting damage back. He's not taking a lot of damage. People don't even have to kill him to win, so I just don't think that's a great combo. And believe it or not, I got interrupted from recording right in the middle of the Separatist level 9, so literally split in the middle of one segment. But here are the 2 great ones for Separatists, the amazing, awesome ones. We have General Grievous. It's simple, but great. It's the one where he assists whenever anyone does anything. Whenever another ally uses an ability on their turn, basic or special, he assists, dealing 50% more damage. This might finally bring Grievous into relevance in Kyber 1 at this time. I mean, it sucks that we still have like droid specialities right now in the Datacron set that's coinciding with this one that's also active. But I think this will beat that. Get a good Separatist boost, especially think of Grievous with riposte attacking out of turn every time. That's going to be pretty scary. Because, I mean, B2, gets all his turns automatically and it generates turn meter. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know what their ceiling is, what they're going to beat, but Grievous is going to be pretty cool. Dooku is also going to be pretty sick. Plus 200% crit chance and crit damage. So even if they are loaded up with crit avoidance, he's probably going to crit. And 200% crit damage. So add that on to whatever he has base. Even if you don't have any modifier, that's 350% crit damage. It's insane. Whenever a Separatist ally uses a special ability on their turn, Dooku assists and dispels all buffs on the target enemy. So he's going to be attacking out of turn a lot. And he's actually the first original character with riposte, but he can get riposte even more often. You don't have to do his Master of Makashi to get riposte. You can just do the lightning if you have riposte level 6. And at the end of his turn, okay, while he's inflicted with a debuff. Okay, yeah, that's it. So this, I was looking at for that because this plays into that second clause. At the end of his turn, he inflicts himself with disarm until the start of his next turn. So that's giving him the crit chance to crit damage. Whenever Count Dooku takes damage during this turn, the weakest enemy is dealt 200% of that damage but can't defeat them. So that's going to be really annoying to deal with, especially in DW with Trench and Cron. So Grievous and the Trench team with Dooku, that's going to be pretty interesting and pretty strong. So looking forward to seeing how that all works out. And here, this would be normally the last slide of the video, but I have the focus Datacron to talk about after this. I decided to go with numbers of priorities for the rerolls, because saying yes, 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 no wasn't quite as helpful. So I think the character level 9s have to be your focus. Make sure you're getting the right ones that you want first, and then I think you reroll for stats. There's a few where you're going to want to go for the right faction ability, of course, and then alignment. I put this at a 4, but that's mainly because Dark Side is so bad. With Light Side, it's absolutely a high priority. But when you roll the dark side Cron. As long as you got one that's decent, just go for the faction character bonuses that you actually want. But stats, I think re-rolling off of crit chance and trying to get a lot of health and protection is probably good. Now let's talk about focused Datacrons. So I was going to talk about this at the end for some reason, but I'll talk about it before we go into the focused Datacron set and abilities and everything. This is the cost of upgrading a focused Datacron. I have the normal cost on the left, Mark 2, Mark 2, Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 mats, 90, 305, 190. Most resource intensive on the Mark II, data cache 7.75 million. Over here, it's what it costs with the focused Datacron, and this is the amount of increase from before. Mark 1, 340, so it's almost quadruple the amount in the normal one. I don't care as much about that. I'm usually swimming in that one anyway, so that doesn't matter. Mark II, 590, 93% increase. That's also not as bad as I was worried about, because I need so many more of these than the Mark III's normal, that Mark III's tend to pile up, and Mark II's are my bottleneck. So I'm glad that's lower. However, the Mark III requirement is so insane. 980, almost 1,000 of the Mark III. I will farm for days before I get this. Maybe like a week of just hitting that Sector 4 node. It's a 416% increase, so it's over 5 times the amount normally required to max. Crazy. For a normal player, I think you can probably, like a free player, don't try to get more than one of these leveled up per conquest. So maybe you can get 2 of them per set, but it's crazy. Data cache, 28.3 million. 266% increase, almost quadruple. So yeah, that's almost the cap we used to have. Probably, was it less than a year ago we had that cap? So I'm glad they increased the cap again, because that data cache requirement is bonkers. So yeah, they're pretty expensive. So here we go, focused Datacrons. New to the game, very expensive. I'll be going over their cost at the end. But first we're going to start from what I think are the worst focused Datacrons to the best. So the worst, and fitting in the bad category, is the Zaalbar one. However, that doesn't mean it's just weak sauce. Like, it means it's like the lowest priority for most players, because they're so expensive to buy it all and then upgrade. It's insane. And then also this one is kind of built around Zaalbar having his new Omicron, which I don't even have on my main account, so I don't know how many people have it. But let's jump into it. So first of all, the stats. I'm a little underwhelmed by the stats on this one, except for health. I mean, 80% health is pretty nice. But whenever they throw defense in as a stat, it's like less than you'd get on a normal roll on a set that has defense, because defense has traditionally always been a super high like number value. So this one has at one point, the higher levels, 100% defense. It's just so loaded up with crit chance. Crit chance is the stat I always mock in a Datacron set, so you want to roll off it, because the ones that you want to deal a lot of damage and want to crit usually can crit anyway. So they loaded it up with crit chance. The health is nice, but it's just so much crit chance. Here's what's nice about it, matching the Zaalbar Omicron in 3v3. So if the first time I forgot to update this. I changed the picture. First time mission. Okay, so first time mission's defeated, she comes back. So that automatic sacrifice with Zaalbar kicks in. She's gonna come back. So you can't do the cheese of like, okay, I'll go in one battle, she'll die. Next battle, he won't have his super stats. So she'll come back. She's there, doing her thing with Zaalbar, assisting all the time, and him and Darth Rowan still have the benefit of the boosted stats. 5v5, it's not as much of like a immediate payoff thing, but it's still okay. Level 6 ability. Whenever Old Republic allies attack out of turn, they have a 25% chance to remove 10% turn meter. So they will be attacking out of turn a lot, but I think with the Zaalbar Omicron, you only run light side, so you won't have Canderous. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't only run light side, but I've just seen that for most of them. Most of the lineups, but I mean, I guess it's okay. Level 9 ability. Whenever light side allies inflict at least 4 debuffs, have a 10% chance to reduce their cooldown by 1. So that's just kind of conditional. So I don't think that one's really that great. And then this one for Scoundrels. Whenever a debuff on an enemy expires, Scoundrel allies gain 2% offense doubled if the debuff was dispelled. So that can lead them to ramp a lot. These two are Scoundrels. But again, it's not like blowing me away. Like, these are kind of meh abilities. This is specifically about 3v3, and then this one takes a while to pay off. And I don't even, like... let's just finish Zaalbar, and then I'll share that thought. At the start of his turn, Zaalbar gives taunt for 1 turn to all tank allies. So that will be him and Juhani usually. Juhani does increase her damage based on that, but her damage multiplier is so bad it's not really going to matter. Then tank allies are immune to buff immunity and stun while he is active. Once per turn, when Zaalbar inflicts armor shed on an enemy, he inflicts on all other enemies. That part is nice, but it's still like you gotta run him with the old Republic team. I don't think this elevates them enough to make them like Kyber 1 relevant. If this is the only team you have like built and you're in a lower league or something, even up to like Kyber 5 or 4, maybe it's gonna be good, but I just don't see it, other than like the health value. If you want to just get this Cron for the stats of health, that's really expensive, but if you have unlimited resources, I guess it's easier than rerolling all the time. So that one's not necessarily that great. So I am giving Zaalbar the bad rating. Next up is Hera, or Phoenix, more aptly put. And I'm also giving this a bad rating, although it is more borderline. It's more arguably good. But I still wouldn't recommend getting it if you're on a budget. So stats, again, the crit chance, or load dust up with crit chance, 50%. 65% health is nice. 30% defense is a joke. Like, that's less than a level 1 or 2 stat roll on a normal set that has defense. So that's terrible. 35% offense is nice, but the stats are kind of spread out. So it's not like overwhelmingly good. What's great is it does have the 25% turn meter, so that's awesome. You get to go right off the bat most of the time. And Phoenix love initiative, and if they get out in front, they stay out in front, so that's great. The Kanan one. So the Kanan is the big play. It might as well just be a Kanan Cron. If there are no Galactic Legends at the start of the encounter, so this shuts down Galactic Legend counters, which is, they used to be good at that. Like Lord Vader, it was a speciality of theirs, and sometimes some other stuff. But at the beginning of the encounter, Kanan is immune to instant defeat effects, and other Phoenix allies can't be defeated while Kanan is active. So, what instant defeat effects are we really worried about? We got Cat and Sith Eternal that are on Galactic Legend teams, so that doesn't help. There's Nihilus, but Phoenix is all about attacking out of turn, so I don't see you using them against Sith. And then there's like Mando, and are bounty hunters really that big of a threat? So I don't know. I mean, you're not going to use them on defense, but even on offense, like what threat are you avoiding with that? All Phoenix allies can't be defeated while Kanan is active. So that's pretty nice. I mean, they have to go through him. And I'll just read Hera because it goes along with him very well. At the start of the encounter, Hera and Kanan get guard until they're defeated. Whenever another ally is defeated, if there's no other allies with guard, Hera applies a guard to the strongest other Phoenix ally. So even once he's dead, guard keeps going around to somebody. And, that's not as big of a deal to me because if I'm fighting Phoenix, often I like to kill Kanan first because he has both the counter chance and he has the debuffs healing you. Like if you get debuffed, you get healed. So, yes, he's not going to die as easily. This is going to make them a lot better against like Reva. So it might solidify them as a Reva counter or certain other counters, maybe Gungans. But he doesn't have like a grit mechanic, like where he's immune to percent damage health effects. Or takes reduced damage. I would prefer that over instant defeat immunity because that would mean like against Gungans or something. Death Mark isn't going to hurt him. But in this case, you might be able to manipulate that or take advantage of that. If you're facing Gungans and they put Death Mark on someone else, they can't die. It's like an extra tank. It's like Jin or so. So they won't be able to die. They'll just keep attacking them, and Kanan's alive, so they're stuck. So that part's nice, but I don't think it's going to be worth how much it costs to get there. The Phoenix ability on level 9. This is the target thing. If they target someone else, they get 5% defense, max health, max protection, and offense. So there are a few targeting things. Hera has her specific call to assist, which is a target. Kanan targets somebody. If you use Zeb, he targets somebody. If you use Ezra, he can target somebody. But here's what I hate about them putting Ezra here. First of all, his ability is whenever Ezra dispels a buff from an enemy during its attack, he deals true damage, which can't be evaded. So that's going to be his first special flourish, where he does the leap in the air and dispels. That'll be some extra damage. I don't know how much damage. If it's an insane amount, like it's a one-shot, maybe might merit looking at him to add him into the team. But historically, he has been the odd man out on the team. You want Hera, because she's the lead, you have to have her. There's no team without her. You want Rex, of course. In this, you have to have Kanan. You normally do. And the fourth, Chopper, is reducing cooldowns. That's not been something we've been okay with passing up on because of the way Rex's unique works. And then the fifth is Sabine, and on a smaller account, Zeb. Like, not having Sabine means you don't have the armor shred and you don't have the stagger to control turn meter. I just don't see adding Ezra as an option unless that true damage is an insane amount. So that's why I'm giving this the bad rating, but I mean, you decide. So next we got Aphra, and I'm giving it the good rating, but it's more so specialized, and it might not be worth it either, depending on how people react to it. I'll talk about that in a second. So the stats: tenacity 35%, big whoop. Who cares? That's barely anything. Protection 35%. Okay, a little bit better, but also big whoop. Offense 25%. Sure, that's good. I mean, it's okay. It's decent. Potency 180%. So that's really good for Aphra. This normal base set does come with a lot more potency values, so you could get to that high potency anyway. But Aphra loves to have potency. There's a lot, like the general abilities for this team are really nice. Scoundrel allies can ignore taunt to target a debuffed enemy. That's great. So they can get around Chrysanthemum even without, locking him down. But even if you didn't have that, they have the Doubt Clause whenever they hit 90, 70, 50% health. So that's 3 times per character potentially, inflicting doubt on a random enemy that can't dispel it. So doubt prevents buffs. It prevents protection recovery. Really, really good. So that's really strong. And in general, that's going to be really powerful for the team. Also, they're letting you take. This is not only aimed at Jabba entirely, they are trying to dismantle your own Jabba by giving you Chrysanthemum. So all other allies are Dr. Aphra, Darth Vader, Darkside droids. Chrysanthemum abilities trigger as though all allies are Hut Cartel. So he was built into her kit, but his kit was still completely held back by needing all Hut Cartel, and this kind of gets around that. So he's going to be about the same power level that he is on Jabba. I mean, maybe not quite as much, but basically the same character you're used to having. Chrysanthemum reduces all ally cooldowns by 1 whenever he inflicts disarm. So whenever he does land that, and he's kind of slow, so he'll go at the end. Everyone's used a special. He'll reduce their cooldowns. That's great. And Aphra has a real tank now that you can use. Until now, the only one that fit into her kit was really like Magna Guard, I guess, and he was not well equipped for the team. So Chrysanthemum might be nice. Only in 5v5 though, because of course 3v3 you want the droids. While this one is a 000 ability, while BT1 is active, 000 is immune to daze and stun. Yeah, that's alright. Whenever 000 damages a target locked enemy, he gains protection up 100% stacking for 2 turns, so it'll be harder to kill him. That's great. 50% turn meter, awesome, and inflicts protection disruption for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. So that's awesome. So look for those target locks with him, and it's definitely going to be strong. Then Aphra. Dr. Aphra can't be targeted by enemies of their active Darkside droid allies. That's a big problem with her normally, is that if the AI decides to kill her first, you're toast. And then also, if you set Aphra on defense for some reason, not many people do, you could just gun her down with CLS and then they're toast. But now, she's going to be like Mon Mothma. So you need to kill everyone else first and then she can revive them. That's fantastic for her. And she revives all Darkside Scoundrel allies when she uses dangerous tech. So that's not going to include Darth Vader, but it will include Chrysanthemum. Then Aphra, Chrysanthemum, Darth Vader, and Darkside droids are immune to thermal detonators. So if that's the specific screw you Jabba clause in this, like who else is really relying on thermal detonators this much? Jawas? I don't know. So they're going to be really, really good at killing Jabba. And to the point where people just won't sit Jabba anymore. Even when she had her old school Datacron where it's like she's taking a turn anytime anyone does anything. That one was great for countering Jabba. probably not as good as this one. And then people just didn't sit Jabba. I didn't sit Jabba. Brought him on offense, because why would I let my Jabba get crushed by Aphra every time? So that's kind of the trade-off there. However, it is still a really strong team, even aside from the thermal detonators. So I still will probably get this as my second one, to bring a team I have that I'm not usually using that much, bring them into relevance, and have value. So yeah, and you won't have to worry about Java at all. So yeah, Aphra, I'd say it's good. And here we are at the best one, the only one with the awesome rating, and definitely the one I'm going to go for first. I've already bought the Cron. I haven't leveled it up at all because Conquest hasn't started, but this is going to be the one I am shooting to use. So this is going to make Boba Fett, Son of Jango, and Fennec kind of like another Bane. Okay, they're both bounty hunters. Okay, I was just checking to make sure these are 6 and 9 are bounty hunter, because in the initial release they had that stupid 0 in parentheses and I wasn't sure what it was. But this is going to make them like Bane. So it's going to be a 2-man offensive team, because you don't want a whole team in there. You want just the 2. You can't set just 2 on defense. So they're going to be a wrecking crew together. Stats. Crit damage 95%. Great. Or pretty good, actually. It's not that amazing. Crit chance 110. Why so much with the crit chance? They're loading up crit chance everywhere, and we don't want it. Or at least I don't want it. Like, give me offense or something. And then resistance pen 100%. So that's for Fennec. She does special damage, but that's overall not that strong. That's like potentially 1 max roll on a level 7 or 8 stat ability when we do have resistance pen. So, yeah. I'll talk about these the last, but just these simple abilities. Whenever Dark Side allies use a special to gain evasion up, health steal up, and health up. That's on the set anyway, and it's okay, but yeah, whatever. At the start of the battle, bounty hunters get grit. So they lose all their protection, they're all health, they get grit, can't give damage, or they take reduced damage from percent damage health effects, so think thermals, damage over times, anything else like that. So that's really great. There's also a clause where they get like instant defeat immunity. Yeah, they get instant defeat immunity with Jango's ability, or Boba Fett, Sign of Jango's ability. So you have to just use a lot of damage. It's gonna be hard to kill them. And then whenever an enemy is defeated, bounty hunter allies gain bounty hunter's resolve. So whenever they do kill someone, they each get an extra life. Boba already has bounty hunter's resolve, but Fennec doesn't naturally start with it. So let's get into Fennec's abilities. Fennec Sean calls a random bounty hunter ally to assist whenever she uses a basic. So a lot of times her basic is the best idea anyway. She's going to call Boba in to assist when she uses it. At the start of her turn, she gains a stack of Loyal Hand max 20 until the end of the encounter. If Boba Fett, Sign of Jango is in the leader slot, Fennec also gains a stack of Loyal Hand at the start of his turns, and the benefits she gains from Loyal Hand are also granted to him. So I do think you're going to want to run Boba's lead here. His contract's going to be easy to get. It's deal damage to debuffed enemies while you have buffs 20 times, and with her basic, that happens pretty quickly. And also he hits multiple times too, so that's going to be pretty quick. Her lead, yes, it gives extra stats for the less characters you have on the team, you get more stats with her, but her contract's going to be hard to get because you have to have debuffs expire, and you're immune to a lot of debuffs with Boba's ability. So I think the Sign of Jango's lead is going to be better. And here's a mouthful for him. This is going to be even more advanced in DW, but even in GAC, he's going to be pretty good. DBB, I'll just call him that, has plus 100% speed. Okay, let's get him to 300 speed. He has 600. That's crazy. While he has fewer than 10 stacks of momentum. At the start of the encounter, Boba gains 3 stacks of Beskar armor until the end of the encounter. So that's, you can't crit him. He's recovering protection, extra stats, crazy encounter chance. And all enemies are inflicted with target lock until the end of the encounter. Can't be resisted, prevented, or dispelled. So they have locked target lock. Whenever Boba's attack to ignore protection. That's crazy. At the start of the encounter, if there are no Empire Galactic Legends, so they're trying to get around him, just completely dunking on Vader and his new Darkseid clones for those that wail on them. So Fennec and he, if they're the only ones, They all get 75% max health, offense, instant defeat immunity, immunity to ability block, daze, healing immunity, shock, stun, and turn meter reduction. It's just everything. Everything. And allies' attacks can't be evaded. Whenever Boa's Sign of Django gains a stack of momentum, Fennec gains 5% turn meter. If Fennec has 10 or more stacks of Loyal Hand, she inflicts Death Mark for 2 turns. Whenever she uses a basic. Can't be resisted. That's just broken. I don't know what the full extent of this is. It's going to be beating JMK, Leia, Ahsoka, but it is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it in action. And this is definitely going to be the first one I'm going for. I have both these characters in relics. I have Fennec at 8, Boba at 5. I'll probably get him to at least 7 for this. This one is crazy good. It takes a couple characters that weren't being used that much at a high level and completely vaults them to the top of the heap. And then also in TW, it's going to make it a lot easier to clear some walls, especially if you have the lead Omi or any of his Omis, I guess, or all of his Omis. But yeah, so that's it. This video ran a lot longer because of all these focused Datacrons, but let me know what you think. I think I definitely need to cover them in this video. Thanks for watching. See you later.